Hey everyone, welcome to Solder Sesh number 30. It's awesome to be here. Carrie is away this week, and I'm really excited. I haven't been in the studio in a really long time because I'm in Montreal and it's really cold. So I am really happy to be here and really happy to have an excuse to work on something. I do not have a guest with me this week, so it's just me, and you guys can come on this journey with me. I was going to assemble a FM radio kit that I bought on I bought it on Alibaba recently, and I forgot it, which is kind of embarrassing because it tends to be that every time I come on the stream, I have some kind of technical difficulty. But here we are again. So instead, I have another project. I have an art piece here that I am going to work on, and I'm going to show you guys how it works. It has a couple of really small custom boards in it, and I'm going to install some new lights on it. So I'll take you guys with me on that journey. It's got some new LEDs too, so I'm kind of excited to kind of see how those work. And yeah, I can tell you guys a little bit about it. It's a project that it's called The Void, and I've been working on it for about 3 years now, which is pretty wild. But I'm going to say most of that was pandemic, so I'm not going to be too hard on myself. But yeah, so I guess before I go into that, I'm going to show you guys a really cool, maybe I'll get a chance to use it. I'm not really sure. But so I'll show you some new soldering equipment that I got that I'm pretty excited about. So my old soldering equipment or my old helping hands were these guys. And I won't lie, I got them mostly because I thought they looked really cool. And I thought, what could possibly go wrong? But basically what did go wrong is a lot of the top clippy parts fell off on these. You could just pull them out like this. I guess it's so that you could replace them with other things. But yeah, for me, they just fell away. And it was more expensive to buy new ones than anything else. So I ended up doing that. But that wasn't even the major disadvantage to these. The major thing was they were very hard to place. And sometimes they would kind of spring back to the position that they were in before. And it was kind of despite the fact that they're pretty articulate, it was really always hard to get them in the position I wanted them to do the work I need to do. So I looked around at a number of solutions, and I ended up buying one recently. So I'll put this back here. And I think I need to make sure I tell people I am live. So I'll do that. Oh, hey, Bob. How's it going? I was just saying that there's no radio today because I forgot the kit. So I'm going to make some art. And I was just showing off my new soldering equipment. So because, that previous helping hands, they were pretty rough. So I just picked these up, and I'm pretty excited about them. So they got kind of the same thing going on here, these classic octopus arms. But what I really love is this arm that moves a bunch of different ways. It's pretty articulated, and it's got this really good clamp on the front. So I'm really excited to hopefully use them. And yeah, so it's gonna be pretty good. And it's also got these things, which I think are made to wedge boards together so you can hold them flat. Haven't had a chance to check them out yet, but very excited to do so. But if you guys have other soldering station solutions, I would love to hear them. Because I definitely feel unsatisfied with my current solder situation. So yeah, so I guess I'll just go into telling you guys a little bit about The Void. So that's the project I'm going to be working on today. This is The Void. It's a little grubby right now because it was exhibited a little while ago, but it's been the pandemic, so it's seen better times. So it's pretty dusty, but it's made out of this, I guess it's two-way mirror acrylic. So basically, if you shine a light, like right now, if you shine the light on it like this, it's like a mirror, but if you put it in shadow, it becomes like a window. So I have this illusion that I do where I put some LEDs, like some bright LEDs on the inside, and I put a layer of bright LEDs on the outside. And as I like flip them back and forth, it kind of changes from like a mirror to a window. And then the idea is actually this is upside down and it hangs from the ceiling. So you put your head in here, and then as it flips, you can see the person's head. And in the final version of the installation, there's 2 of them. So, you know, it kind of goes back and forth. So while one person is looking at the other person's head, that person's looking at themselves, and then it flips around. So it's kind of a piece about like observation and self-reflection because I'm an artist before other things. So we got going in the chat. The void, yes. Yeah, it's kind of similar to these like infinity mirror sculptures I see going around lately. But the big difference for mine, the key takeaway, is that mine, you can put your head inside. So I had a series of art pieces that were about putting your head in stuff in 2019. So one was like furry, and you put your head in it. A bunch of them were just mirrors. Some of them were just kind of like different shapes. So it was like about exploring what it's like to be in these confined spaces and how you could like put yourself in confined spaces and like feel differently. So this is constructed. I'm pretty proud of the construction because I tried many different things before I got here. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about it. The first way I tried to do it was these are 3mm acrylic pieces. So I first tried to glue them together using acrylic bond. I tried to glue them together using caulking. I tried to glue them together using hot glue one time, but that was terrible. I knew that was the wrong thing to do. So I had another version where I made these acrylic little wedges that sat on the side. They were just very ugly, and it wasn't collapsible. So in the end, what I decided to do was put these hinges. So these are just door hinges, actually, weirdly. They're door hinges, and then I put some oversized screws in here just like to make it look, I guess they're like purely aesthetic pieces, just to kind of make it look a little bit more spooky. And I had the idea that you could disassemble this. It's an icosahedron, so it's got 20 sides. It's my favorite shape. But it actually, an icosahedron, I think, ends up having like 60 edges. So my idea that it was going to be collapsible and I could ship it turned out not to be super feasible because it would take the gallery or whoever I sent it to, it would take them probably, I mean, this took me 3 or 4 hours to assemble. So I do have another one. I have its counterpart that is, you know, still flat packed. I still haven't taken it out of its package. So yeah, so I basically, like, what I do is I put these like M3, I think they're M3 machine screws. I put them in through the back, and then the acrylic is cut into these equilateral triangles, and it's got three holes to kind of put the hinges on. So that's my system. It's pretty good. This particular void does have a broken face. It's really hard to tell. I'll try to show you guys, but you can't really tell. But one of the faces is broken. But I will replace that one day. Yeah, I'm super pleased about the hinges just because I really didn't want to have anything glued, and then, you know, like worst case you could take it apart. So and then let's look at how I powered this, and you know, I'm an artist, so we're going to take this as it comes. But so these were glued on here, and I didn't like them because you can kind of see that they are just like, you can see each individual LED, and I don't like that look, and I didn't want to diffuse them because I don't think it's going to look very good. But and then it hung from the ceiling, so it's got this really ridiculously long cable, which I also don't love. But we'll see. And then this was attached to the ceiling, which is why it gets to be ugly. It's in a little box that also once contained parts. I want to redo this, so I'll just show you guys kind of what's going on here. So not sure why it's covered in tape, but that was obviously a decision I made at some point. So the last place this was assembled was in Winnipeg. I had mailed it out at the end of March 2020. It went on a little trip by itself to be at I think it was called Merging Minds exhibit in Winnipeg. And yeah, I mean, then that just happened like right exactly as COVID hit. So the show didn't actually end up happening, which was a huge bummer. So it was just kind of like the Void had its first little solo voyage. Yeah, fairly easy to flat pack it. Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be, it's like it's easier to flat pack than this is to ship, but it's still not super easy. So I'll show you guys what I got going on here. So I just have my little regular Arduino, and then I made 2 of these like custom boards. It's basically just a transistor on a board. But what I found really useful, because I keep having to switch out lights and I keep having to switch out Arduinos and keep having to switch out power supplies and all that, I put these like screw terminals on here, so I could basically put anything in there, which is pretty handy. And yeah, it's basically got these. Also, it's got like barrel jacks and more screw terminals on the other side, so I can send the signal and also power them through the same power source. And yeah, these are super handy. A lot of my work that I do, like a lot of my artwork, mostly is just about like using a transistor and turning something on or off through my Arduino. So I made a bunch of these with my collaborator Hillary a couple of years ago. We went to China and we made a bunch of these boards. They call them fizz pops for no real reason, but yeah, I use them all the time, so they're pretty cool. And yeah, they're just connected to these LED strips. So what I'm going to do today, what I hope to do is just like take off these old LED strips that are here. You can see they're kind of like not great. They're already basically coming off. So I'm going to take those off. I'm going to test the new LED strips. I'm going to clean this and I'm going to apply the new LED strips. And we'll see if it works still. I don't know if it's going to still work with no problems, but we'll find out. I mean, I doubt it because I can already see, like, I don't really know where this went, but it is no longer connected wherever it was. So that's not a good sign. But I'm sure we can get the LEDs going. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is clip off, so you can see they're just kind of soldered here. I'm just going to clip these off right away because I know that these old LED strips, I just don't want them. So my beautiful art install can go back in its box. And I'll just pull these off. And like one thing I'm kind of seeing that I was worried about is that I left these for a really long time. So the adhesive, while not actually holding the LED strips on, is still kind of stuck to the inside of the void. So I'm going to try and peel that off, see what happens there. I also have some double-sided tape, so I might just do that. Okay, and this is already off, so that's great. So let's kind of just see what's going on. It's so hard to read the chat and also do things. Okay. You write notes in the chat. That's cool. I mean, I read it. I'm like here to engage with you guys. I have kind of bad vision, so it's always hard for me to, I mean, it's hard for me to read the screen anyway, but then it's double hard when it's really tiny and StreamYard is not kind. So this is, I mean, it's not so bad for coming off. It's not great either, but yeah, I had a dream for these pieces that I would assemble them in a gallery that was like very, very dark, except these pieces in the middle, and you know, that it would be very, very dramatic, and people could sort of watch two people because there's two of them hanging like right next to each other, right? So in my dream installation, two people are kind of facing off in this like looking at themselves, looking at each other kind of battle. I also thought it'd be really cool if you know, it was dark until they stood inside the void or put their head inside it. And I also experimented with different ideas of like maybe using a light bulb instead of these LED strips, but I have not had much luck in a light bulb that would be easy to install places and that would run without, you know, that could be responsive. I could install in galleries and yeah, and would be able to connect to everything I want it to. Or so if anyone has any suggestions on that, on like a really good programmable light bulb, then I could get rid of these LED strips fully. I think that'd be cool. Okay. So it's not so bad, but clearly I should not have left it for several years. Actually, I'm going to show you guys the new lights that I got because I ordered them again off Alibaba and they were a great price, but I was really after like a very cold white because I thought, you know, it's kind of like a little bit spooky, right? And I find like the cold white to be a lot spookier. So I don't know if they're as cold as I want them to be. So I'll show you the new ones I got. All right. There we go. Cleaned it off. A little bit more here. And the other funny thing about this project is I started doing it right when, you know, like it started to get popular right when COVID happened. And all of a sudden people did not love the idea of putting their heads in the same kind of space. So I don't know when it's going to be like able to be displayed again. I think once COVID like really for real calms down, then maybe people will be open to putting their head inside this, but as of now, it is not a popular choice. So, all right, so I'll show you guys the new lights that I got, and we'll turn them on. So these are the new LEDs. I got them, they have, you guys can see here, they're this like kind of continuous looking LED. I haven't actually turned them on yet, so I really have no idea. But they look like it's a continuous strip of light. So I'm hoping that you won't kind of see the individual dots of each of the LEDs. That's my goal. And I want them to be a nice, like, cool, spooky blue-white. So we'll clip them to my power supply. Actually, I'll turn it on so I don't. There. So I've got my custom Liborg clips here. So I have decided that purple is going to be ground, pink is going to be power. All right, so here's my LEDs. Let's see, 4 volts, that's not going to do it. Oh, came undone. That's probably why. I'm going to turn you down. Oh, there we go. Awesome. They're super bright. Love that. So I think it like worked. It's gonna work pretty well, you know, like you can't see the individual LEDs. It looks, well, you can kind of see them from some angles, but I think it's a lot better than the other one. So I think if people are like standing back in the gallery, they will have no idea. And they're really thin, so I like that because the others you can kind of see were just like about twice the size, so they're just taking up so much more room on the bottom. Yeah, I think this is going to be awesome. I'm going to test the other one because sometimes, I don't know, maybe they gave me two different ones. Who knows? Nope, that looks very similar. So awesome. Pretty excited to put these on. I think they're going to be cool. They're not, I mean, they're cool, but they're not super cold white. I'm also feeling they're like a little bit warm. So something to think about. But yeah. Pretty cool. Do they dim a little if you lower the voltage? Okay, let's see. Let's see. I feel like I don't know. We'll see. Kind of a feeling they're just going to turn off. No. No, they're just kind of flickering and then they go off. But you know, that's true. I could possibly do some like PWM and make them fade a little bit. Because the problem is like with this is that like it has to cast light on the outside and then it has to cast light on the inside, and if there's any overlap, the effect doesn't work. So no, it's true. It's important to keep in mind, like, is it going to be too bright when it's outside that it like destroys the effect for the inside? So we'll find out. So the other thing I'm wondering is that they don't have any like cut points. So what I was oh, is that a cut point? I mean, this looks like where they assembled it, but it does not necessarily look like it's where I'm supposed to cut and solder to it. Like these ones have like these points here where it's very clear that's where I should cut and solder a new wire to it. But these don't seem to have that. I could probably make that work, but not so sure. If I lower the current, is that going to work? Okay, let's check. Let's find out. Oh yeah, there you go. Huh, that's not bad. It's really flickery. But yeah. Neat. I always just use PWM. I never thought about that. Thanks for the tip, Bob. Okay, so yeah, I think there's a chance that I might have trouble if I want to split this into two. But let's see. I think what I'll do is I'll start with the outside because that one is easier. And actually what I'll do first is I'm going to tighten all of these pieces on the outside just to make sure that it's not like, because it gets kind of jiggly. I think like I need to add some Loctite to each of the screws. That's like long-term goal. And I think it'll tighten it up quite a bit. So just make sure these are not like slipping all over the place. I think the more I move it around, the more they tend to just like get looser. And my studio mate, who is lovely, asked very kindly that the void not be right in the middle of the studio. And I think that that's a reasonable request. But also my partner asked that it not be in the middle of our apartment. So I think the void is not necessarily welcome anywhere. All right, good here. First, I'm going to clean off the edges before I apply this, just in case. Well, actually, I know it's dusty, so just kind of wipe it down. Looks so nice when it is clean, but it's just very, very dusty in the studio. I also had another idea that I was experimenting with at one point that was, instead of having these LEDs along the edges, I was thinking of putting like a big LED kind of in all of the corners. And I think that would look really striking for lighting the inside. The reason I didn't do it is because then you'd have wires kind of running through the whole thing. And I was like worrying that that might ruin the illusion, but I think I might try it at some point. Maybe I could like get really thin wires or some like kind of nice looking speaker wires or something. Okay. So, because you can't totally escape the wires. We're going to have like a wire coming up here anyway. So why not lean into it? So I will start. Oh no, they do have. Oh no. I'm like pulling off the coating. I just want the last layer. Ooh. Brutal. I'm just gonna sit on here and try to peel this thing off. I'm wondering if possibly that is not necessarily meant to be an adhesive backing. Fortunately, I do have some double-sided tape, so I will try that. I will do that, and then I will apply the LEDs to the tape. So this does go clear after when you take off the other side, so it's not so bad. Put that on. I also know some people who make these like not for your head, like where they make people who make these like just for regular sculptures. They have like these really nice wooden kind of frames that the acrylic sheets slot into. I thought about building one of those. Not sure. I'm not convinced of my own woodworking skills enough to do that reliably, so I won't. All right, and then I'm just gonna remove this riveting live stream in which people watch me peel stuff off stuff. All Right. And the final one, I'm going to tuck these edges over just because don't want them to actually tape the sides together. It's not going to work. All right, here we go. Trying to get it as close to the edge as possible. And I think after I'll go over this with a small blade and see if I can maybe remove the excess. Oh no, it's really not sticking. It just needs a bit of pressure maybe. Felt a small crunch there, so I am slightly worried. Let me see if this is still working. A crunch is never a good thing to feel. But it seems to be working a little better when I hold it down, so that's good. Yeah, let's just test this guy out again. Will you reach, Void? Nope, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. Okay. Huh. So when I peel this off, oh, you know what? That did work that time. Okay, off you come, tape. Okay, let's try this. Onto the edge. That already looks better than the original lights. So let's try this. Yes, still works. That looks good. That looks really cool. I'm excited. Okay, so I'll keep going. And around this edge. Got a little bit of like, if you guys can see, it kind of stands off the corner, but I think it's better than it being totally taut in case, I don't know. I don't know what I'm worried about. I'm just worried. In case something. Okay. Right to this edge. Press it down. And then we'll come around. Awesome. Okay, I think that looks good. I'm gonna clip this and I'll give it some space and we'll worry about that later. And let's see. Ah, nice. I think that looks really cool. I'm excited about it. Oh, there's the other one. Okay, this is cool. So I'll do the inside now, and then when I do the inside, oh man, this looks so much better than the other one. I'm very excited. Okay, so I will now do the inside. And I'm realizing that even if this doesn't have like a good place to cut it, I do have the wires that are already attached to the other side of this reel. So I'm just going to use those. So knowing what I know now about peeling this horrible thing off, all right, that's much easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want both of these to come out on the same place so that I only have one set of wires that's going to the controller on the ceiling. Because, of course, in the actual installation, this is going to be flipped upside down. So I will start on this side. And this. Like slightly harder on the inside, I think. Just to make sure it's all even. But something like this. And just gonna like try to keep it as straight as possible. I know if I stick it too many times, it's just not going to be sticky anymore. Okay, and one more. Awesome. Okay, and then I'm going to cut it. Where did I put my snips? Oh, they're behind me. Okay, so just going to snip this off. Awesome, and I'm left with this modest strip. I will figure out what to do with that later. Awesome. Okay, so if everything works, this isn't the best sticking, then you should be able to see the other effect. Oh. Not working. Okay, okay. Not a good sign. Oh, there we go. All right, so it was just the clip. But it's pretty cool. Yeah, you can kind of see now like what this looks like as a mirror. And yeah, this looks so much better. I am very, 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 very happy. So I guess you guys can see. Well, let's do like a contrast. You got your mirror, and you got your window, or the other way around. Cool. All right. Okay. Do I have any more comments here? Yeah, there's only lights along the collar of the void for this one. I thought about maybe putting some lights like maybe in the corners for future voids, but for this one, I think it's just on like where you would put your head in. Cool. So let's see. Maybe what I can do here is have a look at what I did, and if I can understand my own logic, maybe we can see the whole thing going. So I think probably this goes like the red and the brown go to one of the red and the brown. I bet that's what's happening. And then probably the yellow or the orange was also power and ground, but I probably had some ridiculous logic or mnemonic or something to remember that, which I obviously no longer have. But I can try and solder this up anyway. I'll do my best guess. And we'll see. I have all my solder, Epsom solder. Got my soldering iron. Turn it on. Got something that'll act like a sponge. There we go. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe I should probably have like put them both to a common ground, but it would require some redesign of the circuit, which I should get to, but I might not get to today. So just gonna strip these wires. I'm gonna strip them really generously, and I will apply some insulation on them afterward, I think. I'm gonna do some bad soldering practice, but you know, you guys will forgive me. So I'm just gonna twist these together. I will redo it for the final install, but I just want to see if everything's working still the way it originally was. So gonna twist the power to the power. And then you guys can watch me solder super up close because I have terrible eyes. But here we go. I feel like the main difference between like artists who do engineering stuff and engineers who do engineering stuff is that artists just like solder in the weirdest places to make the most nonsense objects. I have done so much soldering in like weird galleries and like on top of ladders and like stuff like that. And I actually feel more comfortable soldering in precarious and weird situations than I do soldering at a solder table. So I don't know what that says. I mean, I kind of know what that says about me, but so I'm going to guess maybe there's a hint on my. Yes. Okay. I'm going to guess that I meant that orange was the ground. And that looks consistent with what's on the Arduino, so we'll see. Just twisting them together in this super precarious nest because it is the artist's way. Right. I used to be really self-conscious about all of my weird artwork that kind of looks a little bit like a bomb to the untrained eye. But some of my favorite artists also make art that looks like chaos. So I have decided that it's okay and it's just a style. Okay, so I got these going, and then let's see how I connected this up to the Arduino. Looks like, oh geez. Yeah, I think they did have a common ground, and that these two were screwed into this bolt. That's like kind of like what it appears to be. You guys can't really see this, but like, so there's these two orange wires and they're going into the output. And then I've got this yellow wire that looks like it used to be connected to this one, and it's connected to the one ground on here. So in that case, I'm gonna just try and unscrew this. I think I need a screwdriver though, so I will be right back. Try and find a screwdriver. Without ruining everything on the live stream. Nope. All right, 1 second, guys. Listening to anything, but here we are. All right, so what do we got here? Mark your ground wire with a piece of electrical bit. That is a really good tip. I will definitely do that next time. My problem that I run into a lot is I think I'll remember. I'm like, for sure, I know this, and there's no way I will ever forget this decision that I've made. But I mean, I am human. But yeah, I like that. I like that idea to mark it with some tape. Okay, so flathead. And yeah, so just to go back to what I'm doing, because these are screw terminals on here, I'm just going to undo this. And I'm going to put these that look like it's the shared ground and the one from the Arduino in there. I'm going to tighten it back up. I do see how it came undone though, because this has quite a bit of tension on it. So I definitely see what happened. Pull those, make sure they're all good. And yeah, I think that's it. Although I did realize while doing this that I think I got the power and ground mixed up. We'll see. Let's see what happens. So I think this is going to go here. And yeah, that would make the yellow ground. And it is, oh, it's partially working. So this is a great, well, it's a great bit of an intro to it. So intentionally, they have this like flicker kind of quality. I programmed that in just so that it would be like, it would feel a little bit like it's going on and off. One of them's working, one of them is not working, which is excellent because I think I know the problem. Like I said, I think I realized that I did mean that yellow was ground, not that brown was ground. Obviously employing two different sets of logic. So that's an easy fix. Perfect. Do that. And then the void will be working. So that'll be cool. Oh, my sound far away. I guess you're right. That's why I was wearing my headset. All right. Is this better? Okay. So, yeah, so I see my problem now, and it was in fact that I had ground and power mixed up. So that's an easy fix. Gonna wait for my soldering iron to heat up. Better. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't keep track of my own wheelings and dealings. That's why I have you folks. All right, so just gonna strip this wire again and try. So it was yellow that I decided was ground. And brown. See, like I probably was thinking like, well, obviously like orange is closer to brown, which is the color I used for ground on the other side. But in my new logic, I'm thinking like yellow is the brightest. So therefore, anyway, whatever. That is Lee of the past. Okay. So I'll solder these together. And this one. I'm surprised this like still works at all. I don't know really what I was like expecting to go wrong, but I was definitely expecting something to go wrong. All right. So that's that. I'll put the camera so you guys can see the whole situation. Turn this on. Awesome. And then it switches to mirror mode, window mode. And then like you could imagine someone's head is inside here, you know? So it's like it disappears. But yeah, so Carrie has it easier and Robin helps her. It's true. I gotta get an assistant. I'll have someone to come help me. But yeah, that's kind of that for this project. I am pretty excited that it worked. I'm really happy with the new LEDs. I'm pretty surprised that the circuit held up, but I think you're right, Bob. I gotta kind of fix a couple different things and like maybe simplify this like wiring nest a little bit. And yeah, I think maybe next time I'm on the stream, if I don't remember to bring the kit, maybe I'll assemble the other void. Cool. I'm glad you like it. But yeah, thanks so much everyone for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, it's always a blast to live stream on Alpenglow Electronics. I guess the only other thing I want to say is we do have a couple of Valentine's products up right now. So we have the PS I Hate You badge. which is a great thing to get for someone who you love and want to challenge. It's a lot of fun to put together, but yeah, it's pretty difficult. So yeah, have a great night. It was great to hang out. Bye.